Hey guys, welcome as we come in.
There's some familiar faces.
Lots of big smiles tonight, I can already see. So we're just going to wait for people to come in here for a little bit. I think this call will probably be more relaxed than the one this morning. Fewer people, but we'll see.
Kevin, this is the test for Korean meeting or the real?
This is the real one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey Han, how you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How did the Chinese one went yesterday?
It was a few speed bumps, but it went pretty well overall. I think a lot of folks enjoyed being able to break out and have little chats about the Constitution. Gave kind of a nice community feel. We learned a few things about the Zoom call itself and about breakout rooms. Like, for example, we put those two EOS New York guys, Kevin and Rick, wound up in their own group together by themselves. So they did not have a very good discussion because they already know each other pretty well. But so that was an accident based on the waiting room. So little things like that, but we're getting better. All right, still waiting for some more participants, guys. We'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll start.
Outstanding.
Well, as long as we're sitting here doing nothing, should we start the WPS meeting? We seem to have quorum here.
How could anything go wrong with that?
Yeah, I'm guessing, Thomas and Orchid and Josh, that we are all going to be late to the other meeting.
Not if we finish this on time. Han, great.
Yeah, we're not going to finish this on time.
We're going to try.
We were only 15 minutes long on the last one, and that was a total cluster. So I think we've learned a few things already. Han, give me a wave, man. Han, pay attention. Hello, Han.
Yes,
Yes,
Thomas.
There we
What's
go. Thank you. I wanted to say hi.
Yeah. Hey, Thomas. You going somewhere? Are you going somewhere?
I'm flying home. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm at the LA airport. Flying home to Portland. Basically, as soon as this meeting's done, maybe a little early, depending on when they port.
Nice.
Thomas, you have another meeting as soon as this one is done.
Yes, but I won't be in it because I'll be on an airplane.
Can you give us the link for Zoom?
Oh, of course.
Thanks.
So we'll go ahead and get this started, guys. The first few slides are just introductory, and a lot of folks, it's repetitive, but we'll go through it pretty quickly, quicker than we did this morning. So we'll start with that. If more folks join up, then we will invite them in. I'll share my screen here, guys. Let's see. Here's the beautiful presentation. Thank you to Myra for, who was it that translated this into Korean for us? Was it Orchid? Was it your team?
We did by Google Translation. Orchid help proofreading.
Okay, well, thank you, Myra and Orchid. So you guys know, welcome to the Alliance here, looking to empower EOS for all and inform community members as well. I don't believe we have any, we'll go ahead and do a couple of Korean translations for the most important parts here. A lot of this has been covered in the post. So if you guys have been keeping up with the posts, which a lot of you have because you're here on these calls, then you probably know a lot of this information already because we are just covering what is in those posts. This is a 12-week series for folks to sort of learn more about the Constitution and eventually get involved in working groups to help form new articles, kind of help write a new hybrid Constitution based off of the current version that we have, plus lessons learned from Dan's intent of code is law Constitution proposal. Kind of take the best options that the community likes most and putting them into new articles for a new Constitution. The goals for these conferences, we're trying to break the Constitution pieces down to the values and core beliefs and design principles, just really get an understanding of what each article is trying to get at of the Constitutions. And of course, if you want to learn more about the Constitution, the two options right now are the one in place that's on the EOS mainnet GitHub, and also Dan Larimer's post. If you want to get those links, just go back to the Medium post from EOS Alliance. Both the links are in there. We are always seeking volunteers. A lot of folks have already signed up. If you want to be a facilitator, or if you want to help with working groups, anything of that nature, you can sign up on the form. And then we have our tentative schedule. So this schedule is also listed in the post, guys. This is the entire 12-week, what we believe the schedule may look like overall for this whole series. It will change, obviously, as we learn more and as the working groups get going. But this is kind of the rough idea. Like I said, don't try to read it all right now. Go back to that post if you want to get a better idea.
Kevin, if I can just jump in really quick. I just noticed you don't have a recording symbol in the corner. I don't know if you guys want to record.
I thought I had it recording. Let's see here.
It just usually shows up on the screen.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It
In
shows
this
recording
case,
on my end.
It is recording.
Okay.
If you were to open up the list of participants, you would see a cloud recording icon flickering next to Kevin.
Okay, perfect.
He's recording directly to the cloud right now.
Thank you for the reminder, though.
Good catch.
So registration notes for week 1. Yeah, so earlier today we had our first call in English and Chinese, in Mandarin Chinese. This one is supposed to be for English and also for Korean. And then these will be the first 2 calls only for this week. There will be further calls announced for working groups to dive in a little further starting in week 3, which will be next Monday, next week. And then the registration links as well. Of course, learning how to use Zoom. A lot of us have already figured that out. That's why we're all here. If you guys need to help someone else, of course, you can always take a screenshot of this or send us a personal message, a private message on Telegram. Will help you help your friend how to get on Zoom, things of that nature. So here's basically what the facilitators would do. So we're going to ask, and a lot of you are already trained as facilitators, and so we're going to have the facilitators will be the ones who are in these small breakout groups, which will be about 5 to 7 people, hopefully about 5 or 6. And the facilitator's job is just to direct the conversation, to help keep the flow going in a constructive manner and to help answer the 2 questions that we're looking to address today. And the facilitators, it'll be English and Korean today for this call, help guide the group to a discussion and a conclusion. So 2 important things that the facilitator needs to do. My cat was under my foot there for a moment, excuse me. The facilitators need to, 1, pick a speaker for the group, and ideally you do that early on for your small group. So you'll be separated into these small breakout groups, and the facilitator will pick a spokesperson who is not themselves, who will represent the group's conclusions, and then hopefully the spokesperson is able to take notes during the call itself. What I'm going to do for a moment is stop sharing. I think we have more participants who want to join the call, so let's get them in here. We just brought in Jake and Gustavo, Mick, and Justin and Damien. Welcome. Welcome, guys. We were just going through the basics of what this Constitution Referendum Series is, the 12-week series itself, and we briefly got into what we're doing today. So to go back into the slides. All right, discussion week 1. Oops, let's go back forward again. So why we're here today, we currently have an interim constitution and we need a ratified version, and we need something that the token holders can vote on that most of the community agrees upon and hopefully has partially created themselves. And for folks to vote on a constitution they like, they need multiple choices, hopefully, or at least choices that they have helped create to vote on. And so that's the end goal here with this entire 12-week series, hopefully to create 1 or 2 extra choices for token holders to vote and have a clear choice. So they can choose between either version 1 of the Constitution, which is the one that's already in place, the interim Constitution. They can choose between version 2, which is Dan's proposal, or they can choose between one of the 2, possibly 1 or 2 options created by the community during this series. And it possibly would be a hybrid of the first version and second version, or it would be entirely new articles. It's hard to say at this point how it turns out. All right, so this is where we need participation from you guys. We're going to ask all of you to change your names. I'm going to stop my sharing for a moment. And so when you look at all these boxes, you want to scroll, or you want to move your mouse over your name, or over your, excuse me, move your mouse over your picture is what I'm trying to say. And you'll see there's a little blue box in the upper right-hand corner. click on that and hit rename. And I'll share my screen again so I can show you. Actually, you know what you can do? If you see my name, so you want to put your own name plus your primary language, which in my case is English, and then you can see I have a little F next to my name as well. So put your own name and your primary language. If you are a facilitator for a small group, if you've already been trained as a facilitator, go ahead and put the F next to your name. Like I see Josh has done that. Orchid has done it, and Han. Myra's fully qualified as well. But I see a lot of you guys. It's Data Junkie and Eddie. A few folks, if you can go ahead and change your name, indicate what your primary language would be. And I'll give a moment for Orchid, if you could translate for us, please, and just ask folks to change their names for us.
네, 퍼실테이터는 우선은 뒤에 F를 다시고요. 그러니까 리네임 하는 방법 다들 아시나요? 그 위에 점점점 되는 버튼을 누르면은 리네임 그 옵션이 나오는데 그걸 누르시면은 리네임을 하실 수 있어요. 그리고 이 퍼실테이터를 하실 분들은 뒤에 F를 붙이고 이제 자신의 프라이머리 랭귀지가 일 언어를 이제가 뭔지 쓰시면 되고, 그러니까 편하신 언어, 잉글리시나 코리안 중에서 선택해서 쓰시면 되고, 네, 그렇게 이름을 바꿔주시면 됩니다.
Thank you. Thanks, Orchid. I don't know Korean. I suspected you might have been done, but I couldn't tell for sure. But thank you. So everybody's changed their name now, for the most part. If I don't see if I don't see a language next to your name, I'll just assume it's English. I think everybody here, for the most part, we will have one Korean group. It looks like Korean primary language group, and then the others will be English. So I'm going to suggest we do 4 groups of 4 people each for this nice small community meeting of 16 people total. So we'll go ahead and break up into breakout groups.
I'm going to suggest 3 groups of 5, and I'm going to be dropping out shortly.
Sounds good. 3 groups of 5 it is. So I'll share one thing with you guys before we get started with the breakout groups. And let me go back to sharing my screen. So we've all changed our names now at this point. The sequence of events here. So we will go out into those breakout rooms of 5 folks in 3 groups of 5, basically. And each, as we talked about, there will be one facilitator who kind of helps to manage the flow of conversation. And early on, the facilitator will ask who wants to be the spokesperson for this group. And anyone can speak up and be the spokesperson. And hopefully that spokesperson will take notes throughout that small group, capture the sentiment of what the group is trying to say. And they will be the ones who will come back out into this wider group and report what it is that you guys discussed and what you liked. And then after that, we will do a thank you and a closing. And we'll also ask for some feedback about these calls as well. Let me stop sharing again. I have a link to share with you guys. I'm going to put it up in chat here as well. I just put it up. There it is. This is actually a picture, and I'd like all you guys to sort of copy and paste it into your browser, and it will show 2 slides that you need to see. These 2 slides, anybody can look at. The facilitators themselves can also screen share in their small groups if they want to help show what the 2 questions are going to be. I'll give you guys another moment to just pull up the link there, put it up in your browser. Take a look at it. Jake, you're looking relaxed there. I think you're live, but
I'm live.
All right, so let me go back to sharing my screen, and then we'll get involved in the breakout groups, guys. All right, so you guys are looking at this slide here. It's 2 slides together. It shows the sequence of events we just talked about, that first slide. The second slide will be the important one. That's the one you guys will sort of discuss in your breakout group. And it'll be first thing when you guys first get put into your rooms. It may take a minute or 2 to get everybody sorted into the rooms. So there will be kind of an awkward bit of time where you are together with maybe 1 or 2 folks that you don't know. Just start getting to know each other a little bit. You know, say hello. What's your name? What's the one thing you love about EOS, kind of thing. It's always a good conversation starter. And then the 2 important questions we're trying to answer today in these small groups. The first is going to be, what is the most important thing a constitution must do for the EOS mainnet and why. And then the second would be, what are you most worried about regarding the constitution of the EOS mainnet and why? What do you fear might happen? So everybody keep those slides available, the facilitators as well. And Orchid, I'll let you, if you'd like, if you could transfer for me, please, and then we'll go ahead and do our breakout groups.
네, 그래서 이 사건 우선은 약간 번역 이상한 점 사죄드리고요. 회의에서 어떻게 진행될지 먼저 말씀을 드리면은 우선은 브리핑을 받고 이제 5명으로 쪼개진 그룹으로 이동을 할 거예요. 그러고 나면은 대변인을 이제 선정을 할 거고 그 대변인이 전체 회의를 요약을 하고 이제 나중에 전체 그룹에서 우리는 이렇게 얘기를 했다라고 리포팅을 할 거예요. 네, 이런 순서로 진행이 될 거고 그리고 이제 브레이크아웃 그룹에서 어떤 질문을 할 거냐면 이제 퍼실리테이터가 2가지 질문을 할 텐데요. 첫 번째는 헌법이 EOS 메인넷을 위해서 이제 해야 할 가장 중요한 게 뭔지 그리고 왜 그런지에 대해서 얘기를 할 거고 두 번째는 헌법이랑 관련돼서 가장 걱정되는 점, 우려되는 점이 무엇인지 그리고 어떤 현상이 일어날 수 있을지 그 헌법으로 인해서 그거를 디스커스 할 거고 그리고 이제 팔로우 퀘션들을 한 다음에 마무리를 지을 예정입니다. Yeah, it's done.
Thanks, Orchid. All right, let's go ahead and split out these breakout groups. Again, check the chat there, guys. If you haven't pulled up that link already, please pull that link up. That way you can follow along. And let's make sure we have, let's see, it's Han in here. Let's get Han back in here. We had a few people who maybe got disconnected. Are you still there, Han? Can you hear me okay?
I'm here. I'm hearing you good.
Okay, good deal. All right, let's break these out. Give me 1 second, guys, as we make this happen.
Han, have a cigarette.
May not take quite that long. We'll see.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so Orchid, if you could run the Korean primary language group, please. If you could be the facilitator, rather, for that group.
Sure.
It'll be you guys will be group number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll also put you in with Han and Damien and Eddie Yee. And we need, I guess you'll be a group of 4 for the Korean primary language group because I don't know if anyone else can speak as much Korean.
저는 뭐 한국말로 해도 돼요.
I would rather not discuss in Korean with you.
Group number 2, you'd rather not be in the Korean group, Orchid? Would you rather be in an English group?
No, she was saying she doesn't want.
She doesn't want to be with me.
She doesn't. Okay. I'm glad we have some. Okay. You guys have worked together too much in the worker proposal system, I suspect. All right. So group number 2, we'll have Josh. Let's have Josh be the facilitator. He's got his F whole name spelled out there. So Josh will be the facilitator. We'll have David in there as well. Data Junkie. You have 2 different things, David. Data Junkie. We'll just put one of you in there. And June. And we'll also put Steve. Actually, you'll put Myra in there as well. There you go. All right. And then the last breakout room, we'll assign the remainder. That will be, I'm seeing Han again, and Jake, Brian, Justin McDavitt. Justin, you'll be the breakout room facilitator for number 3, and I'll be in there as well with you. And then looks like we'll have Justin and Jake and myself. So I'm about to hit open all rooms, guys. You'll see a little pop-up where you may just be directed to the breakout room. And we'll have about 30 minutes or so in these breakout rooms. And then, or possibly even less, you'll see a few messages pop up from me directly saying when we're about to go back into the wider group. And go ahead and follow your slides and have fun, guys. I'll see you in a little bit.
Are we in a breakout room already?
I'm not entirely sure. Let me see, Myra.
Okay.
And actually, Myra, I don't even see you in a breakout room. Oh, there you go. Okay. So Santosh, you're actually muted as well. I was muted too. We were both talking to nobody.
There we go. I was saying, what's the name of your cat, Jake?
Her name's Binks. She's crazy.
Like the Egyptian Sphinx? You call her Sphinx?
No, Binks.
Binks.
B-I-N-X. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
He's a biter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But at least he doesn't have front claws.
Oh, you're
She
lucky.
She does have front teeth, though. I see.
No way.
Hey, Santosh is here now.
Sorry, June. Sorry.
Hey guys.
Hey, Josh, how are you?
Josh.
Hey, buddy.
So I think let's see. Do we have everybody now? People are still exiting their rooms. Almost there. Yeah, we'll just go through each spokesperson and get a. We can do up to a 3 minutes, 3-4 minute summary if you'd like for your group, and hopefully, ideally, if you guys could put out also notes either in the Telegram chat or on your own channels, just sort of recapping what you guys covered, and put out a summary just to help keep the rest of the community informed as to what the heck is going on here, and what folks are concerned about with the Constitution. Start the conversation wider, and then we'll find that as we inform more members, we'll end up with more participation going forward as well. The working groups will have more activity. We'll have a stronger end result for the Constitution drafts we're able to come up with as well. So, all right, let's start with Group 1, which was, I think, Orchid was the facilitator. Who was your spokesperson for Group 1?
Actually, can I be the spokesperson?
Sure, why not?
No.
Okay, so we talked about for question number 1, the group thought that the Constitution has to reflect the community value, the values that community think is important, which is, for example, freedom, no violence, and equality and justice. But there are some, there could be some clashing points where freedom and equality clashes in some point, and then the Constitution has to provide a arbitration device, which is currently ECAF. And yes, that was for question number 1. And then, and there should be a upper level guide for community members to actually understand better. Yeah. And then second, there were a lot of concerns, especially for Korean community, that there should be more participants and more people to actually get involved in discussions like this, Constitution discussions.
Change the
time. And then also for the perception of Constitution, there should be a lot of token holders who doesn't know that even Constitution exists and who doesn't agree with the Constitution, but they trade anyways. So there should be a lot of effort to educate and communicate throughout Korean community, especially, to let people know about this. Yes, that was the recap. Thanks.
Wow, almost perfect.
Your peanut gallery there is giving you a hard time.
Wow.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, appreciate that. Anything else to add, Han?
That was pretty much it. Yeah, very succinct. Good job, Orchid.
Okay, cool. We'll ask Group 2. Josh, I believe you were the facilitator. Who is your spokesperson?
Our spokesperson is June, who everyone knows from EOS Ignite.
Yeah. Hey, June. Take it away.
We discussed, what's the question again? Make sure I repeat the question. So the question is, what's the most important thing in a constitution? Or what's the most important thing a constitution must do for the EOS mainnet? I'm gonna kind of just go through this based on our individual responses. It's kind of we didn't really discuss as much in we didn't have much of a discussion, but these are elements of everybody, and I'll just note who I guess discussed these concepts. So David talked about rule of law as being the most important thing. enforceability and intent of law being greater than code is law. Myra wanted a more inclusion of more people, of people getting involved. I think Orchid mentioned that as well. So I think that was important. So, and then Josh followed up with accessibility. So it follows on with the same thing where, you know, translations and everything are important too, for, you know, more people to get involved. So getting, yeah, more people and having it more accessible and transparent, I guess, as well. And enforceability was big, having a constitution that has teeth that people will respect and is enforceable. And then that was Josh. And then I kind of just added that, you know, it's a couple things. It's depending on, you know, how narrow or how broad do you think the Constitution should be, whether it is more like code is law, or if you want to have, you know, the system have, or other people within the system have broader powers and have it more about, even more so than intent of code is law, or more like intent of code is law. So anyway, so I'd say, you know, those are the things we discussed.
Cool. Very nice. Thank you. That was questions 1 and 2 both, right? Yeah, you need some more teeth on those constitution.
Oh, so the 2, I think well, I can add to that. So, you know, Myra is afraid, you know, that if, you know, there's, you know, it's similar. It's, you know, she's afraid that, you know, more people won't participate, they'll lose interest, there'll be some apathy, if, you know, that's what her worry is. And so there'll be less people just voting for it, so you'll have probably less strength in the Constitution. David was talking about, with question number 2, he's afraid that businesses won't, you know, want to build on the blockchain without a contracting system, or having, you know, a dispute resolution system. And then Josh was all about enforceability. Just, you know, any constitution without teeth, you know, people will kind of pick up on it outside and know that, you know, it's not, you know, they'll probably ask, you know, why do you need a constitution? And so enforcement is important to have things that are enforceable. I think that's kind of, those are the ideas around question number 2. And then I would follow up with the last kind of, you know, it really depends on, you know, my worries on both ends, where if it's too narrow, the Constitution is too narrow, we might not be able to protect people from theft. And then on the flip side, if it's too broad, there might be bureaucracies and, you know, people with too much power within the ecosystem. So anyway, so there's, depending on where you go, I think there's some potential problems either way. So that's our discussion for questions 1 and 2. So
nice, thank you. Yeah, and we have group 3, which I believe Mr. Jake Bryan was nominated to be our excellent speaker.
Yeah, there was such enthusiasm behind my nomination. Anyway, question 1, the main thing we hashed out is there needs to be clear ground rules for how we interact with each other, somewhat like a universal code of conduct. And I guess we all agree really that the Constitution needs to be a living document that changes as the community values change and as things progress over time, because if it's just a document that's there forever, you know, what's the point of it? I mean, people are just going to move on to something else. And also it needs to define what is good behavior. And I think a key thing we all were discussing was arbitration. Wait, let me pull up that document again. The questions. All right. Anyway, what was question 2 again? Can you repeat that?
Question, so what are you most worried about regarding the constitution of EOS mainnet, and why? And what do you fear might happen?
All right. The main thing people talked about was arbitration, and there's too many interpretations for what was going on, and Kevin even mentioned a needed sublayer of intention behind every different constitutional point, potentially. And then I questioned the jurisdiction of where our constitution would lie under, but Santosh mentioned there was something in the UN that outlines something. Anyway, I'll look up that more later. And
well put, Santosh.
What? I don't know.
No, I was just clarifying that the arbitration is not nationally limited in any way. The convention that we are signing up for actually allows for universal jurisdiction for arbitration. At least that's what my understanding of the situation is. Okay, continue.
Yes. And one thing, we also mentioned that arbitration isn't a police force. So like, you know, when everyone started losing their keys, they wanted to go to arbitration and just bug them. We kind of saw that in Dan's added what his change to the Constitution and what he wanted to make. And then we don't want to really rush things through. We want to take our time on things. I mean, there's not really a big need, and we don't want there to be a big need for anything to rush through, because, you know, there's potential consequences to that. And if the community is involved, that was a big concern. And then, of course, we reiterated the need for a dynamic constitution. So, yeah.
Nice. Thanks, Jake. Thanks for speaking for us too. That was good. All right, so that basically sums it up. Hopefully everybody took notes, and the recording here will be released. As always, like I said, please release your group's findings if you'd like on any channels, or even other groups' findings that you found interesting. Just help spread the word. We're going to take 2 minutes here and just have everybody in the chat here, the Zoom chat. If you could please, what is the one thing to make this process better next time? If you could answer that question for us, just a little feedback as to what we can do to make this process a little bit better.
Hello.
Hey.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Damien.
So you guys know that it's the working hour time in Korea right now, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you guys want more participants in Korea, I believe this is not a good time to actually make a Zoom call. Perhaps we could do it in some time later in the afternoon in Korea. That would be so much better to make more Korean community participants to join this Zoom call and communicate and form a group and make some discussions.
Absolutely agree. Thank you. Yeah, we'll for the document we're going to hopefully expand the number of Zoom calls. Thank you for that. And we'll hopefully have a full list of the improvements we're looking to make here that will come out in the next few days as well. But yeah, anyone else, if you have something, just go ahead and type it in the chat there. One suggestion for improvement, or even your favorite part of this whole experience, go ahead and just type it in. And we'll wrap this up in about 60 seconds. Seeing some great Korean support there, especially from Han. Looking good. All right, good enough, guys. Thank you very much. We're going to copy and paste all that down. Myra had a good time in her group. That's good to hear. I like Jake's cat. That was my favorite part. One of my favorites, I should say.
I see your cat, and I raise you a dog. A sleeping dog.
Already-
A carcass of a dog.
I already put your dog to sleep. Don't drag him into this.
Ah, that's the dog.
Yeah, that's one of them. There's three.
Three.
Oh my gosh. Well,
He's
we're
the
gonna
only one who has the balls to go on the bed.
Oh. Nice of him to show up. Thank you, Doug. David's Doug. Well, thank you guys for coming. Really appreciate it. Yeah, stay tuned, and we'll hopefully have more information as to when the next calls will be. It'll be soon. And thank you guys again for coming. It's been fun. So I appreciate it. All right. Have a good evening / day / morning, wherever you are. And goodbye.
Next time in the evening.
Wait, let's
Thank you,
leave with the
Thank you, Mara.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.